All right. Good evening, everybody. Oh, man. Good to see everyone. We have got a lot to cover tonight. So let's go ahead and get to it. Hey, PyCon, how are you? First of all, let's go ahead and get into the biggest news that has rocked the gaming world and the streaming world in a long, long time. And of course, that is the news about Microsoft possibly acquiring Discord. Um, wow. And it comes right after we just talked about Discord and its new competitor, Gilded, on Sunday night. And I was hanging out in Jiggy's stream watching his Monday Night VMR when I saw the tweet, a Bloomberg article about it. And I was like, oh my God, $10 billion they're offering for Discord. So all throughout the day today, there has been a lot of speculation, a lot of fear as to what could possibly happen to Discord should Microsoft acquire it. Some people have talked about the positive things that could happen if they're acquired by Microsoft, and I'll touch on those as well. But man, those guys at Team Gilded, this is the best thing that could have ever happened to them, huh?
Are you gonna pull those pistols and whistle Dixie?
Hey, thank you for that host, buddy. I appreciate it. I mean, they were already going after.
Are you gonna pull those pistols and whistle Dixie?
Guy, thank you, sir. They were already going after Discord users anyway, and now this has really started pushing a lot of people towards Gilded. So I don't know. I mean, let's get into it a little bit. Hey, Spidey, what's up, man? First of all, if you read the articles, the Bloomberg article, and there are a few others floating around out there about this, what they shut up, Stacky. What they are saying is that, number one, Discord, they're the ones that approached Microsoft. It wasn't the other way around. Discord has apparently been looking for a buyer or looking to go public. Okay. So Discord approached them, not the other way around. So you have to think about that. Number two, let me get a drink. Hang on. I ran my tongue out of gas. Number two, they are saying that sources within inside Discord are saying that they are more likely to go public than they are to sell. So is that true? Is it not? Are they just trying to throw a little bit of disinformation out there to get media attention off of them until this deal gets done? I mean, who knows? But I'm going to bring in Giant Little, a former Microsoft employee. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Microsoft and Xbox buying up all these game studios. And if we have time, we're going to get into birthday streams in our last and third segment. Birthday streams and other gimmicks that streamers use to get you to donate money to them. I told you when I made this show I was going to be hard hitting and I wasn't going to hold anything back. I'm going to go after anything and everything. So yeah, Spidey brings up a good point that I was really about to shut up, Solus. That I was really about to touch on. Let's kind of cover real quick what potentially could happen with this. Okay, let's talk about the positive first. All right, let's start off. Let's try to be positive about it. Let's say that that Microsoft buys Discord, and what they do is they get rid of Xbox Live and Xbox Chat because it is total garbage and shit, okay? And let's say they replace it on the Xbox and they replace it on the game bar for PC and Windows Gaming. They replace it with Discord. Okay, that would be the best scenario, right? And they leave the rest of it alone and don't mess anything up. That way, like for example, like when Solus and Giant Little and I, we want to play Warzone with Stacky, right? Stacky doesn't have PCs on Xbox. We've got to use the PC Xbox Live app, which is a piece of shit, and we hate it, in order, to talk to Stacky and, have any type of team communication. If this happened, if Discord got on the Xbox, then we could use Discord to talk to him because he would have Discord on his Xbox. That would be great. That would be the best scenario that could possibly happen. Hashtag bad time. That's right. That would be the best thing that could happen. The worst thing that could happen is what Spidey kind of touched on there. They do exactly what they did when they bought Skype. Microsoft bought Skype. They basically shut it down and then, of course, launch Microsoft Teams. And Discord is no more, and they just wanted access to the users, which is why they're buying it, which is one of the things that's been speculated. And everything that is Discord becomes Xbox Live, Microsoft Live chat. And that is the worst thing that could happen, okay? Probably, maybe some would say just as bad, but I would rather see just Discord, disappear entirely than for them to come in, take over Discord, and run it into the ground in kind of a mixer type scenario. Because let's face it, Microsoft does not have a very good history of managing products and companies that they either launch or acquire. And possibility, Spidey, possibility. That's something, along with a lot of other things that Giant Little and I are going to talk about. So let's go ahead and get him in here. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Giant Little in the house. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, Giant Little, like I said, I will leave it up to you to, say how much or little you want to say about what your role was when you worked at Microsoft. Oh, you can't hear JL? Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Let's turn him up a little bit. Okay. Say something real loud. Hey, Young White, what's going on? Still can't hear you. That's weird. I can hear you quite well. Okay. Hold on just 1 second. Yeah, you're not being picked up on. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, hang on. We'll fix this. Damn it. Should have done a test, but we were busy today. That would be great if you could sing elevator music, yeah. In Discord, you're talking about, Solus? Elevator. Yeah, he's using Xbox chat. That's what it is right there.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, try it again.
Trying again.
We got you now.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me.
The Microsoft effect on Discord has already begun, Wifey says. Oh my God. You want to hear something crazy, Solus? I had to do the opposite of what you said to get it to work. How about that? Because it was already on chat. And I had to change it to game to get it to work. Is that not weird? Okay, so now JL's probably way too loud. So let me turn him back down a little bit. Okay, let's.
Loud noises.
Okay, can everybody hear JL now? Good and clear? Say something.
Okay.
Okay, everybody can hear him. Good. Good deal. You were, Solus, you were. Okay, so let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is the one, the only, the Giant Little coming in hot.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. Glad to participate and help out where I can.
You are very, very welcome always, sir. So, like I said, I'm going to leave it up to you to talk about, your time with Microsoft. You can share as much or as little as you like. So we've got a couple things. Microsoft they seem like they're buying up our entire gaming world here. They're buying up all these gaming studios, and of course they're also, rumored to be in talks to buy Discord. So Um, give us a little bit of what your thinking is on that.
I definitely think, as a fan of the Microsoft products and platforms over the years, that's kind of how I ended up there, being a fan, and that's kind of what their prime directive is right now. And with the best intent possible. Now, to kind of start everyone off with just a short and fast history lesson, we all have to remember that in the world of PC game and development, you're developing for DOS, and then you're developing for Windows. Windows is a platform. You the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, you'd walk into a Best Buy, a Circuit City, wherever the heck, and you bought the jumbo game that came with floppy disks, CDs, or
Mm-hmm.
towards the end a digital license, but it was still in a physical box, and it really separated Microsoft, the platform, from PC gaming. Microsoft Windows is the platform. Windows is not the computer. Windows is not the software running on the platform. And I think that's, if we can step back to that point, we can really start to see the journey.
Right.
Um, you know, l- Difference between the PCs and the Apple products of the world. Microsoft allows people to make. They
You
allow
gotta pull
people to
those
create,
pistols and
and they
whistle
don't have the
Dixie.
death grip on the creative process past.
Thank you, Sack, for that host, buddy.
And I think where the paradigm shift started happening is when the smartphones launched. We
Mm-hmm.
went from BlackBerry to Palm OS to, heck, Windows Mobile 6.5. Was a relatively stable platform in the mid 2000s, and then apps became the buzzword. We stepped away from applications and programs as the lingo, and we got into apps. Apps was a hot buzzword, and they were cheap and were free, and it became very popular.
I
Well, at the
remember
time,
when Windows kind of went to the kind of tile app concept. Um, it felt really strange and weird to me to be talking about apps on a PC because
absolutely.
apps was always something that I referred to as being on a smartphone or a tablet.
Yeah, and that was the kind of the demise of Windows 8 before they semi relaunched to Windows 8.1, to where you still had a traditional desktop environment. They tried to control it too much. They tried to force you down to use their native Windows Store before it got rebranded to the Microsoft Store. And they had to pull back. They had to open up the operating system to remind people this is still Windows. This is still a great thing that you're used to, but it still left a bad taste in people's mouth,
Mm-hmm.
circa Windows ME, Windows 95, just Windows Vista. It left that, you know, okay, let's move on to the next thing. And now we are here at Windows 10, where they've fine-tuned the back end of having an app store that's integrated, where they're making their revenue, where they're controlling their content.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they had their light bulb moment and did the deeper integration of, we could have been selling games all along. And I'm not talking about Hello Kitty Island Adventure or Bubble Pop or, Flappy Bird. I'm talking about actual game and controlling or help facilitating the user experience, because they've left money on the table for 20 plus years, allowing Steam to exist and flourish and grow. And there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely love between the two organizations. But Windows finally said, oh, we can do this. Xbox is doing it. They have a store. We have Xbox Live Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we just kind of understand that journey to where we're at now, of, oh, we have a giant bank account, we have an app store, we can play in this game, and now we're here.
Okay, and that's a good segue into What we were, what really was going to be our main topic tonight, until the Discord news dropped, and that is the news of recent weeks of Xbox, which is Microsoft. Okay, so we're going to just use that we're going to interchange those Xbox Microsoft because they're the same thing. Of Xbox acquiring all of these game studios, right? And Bethesda is probably the biggest acquisition that they've made because now they've got control of the Elder Scrolls franchise. They've got control of the Fallout franchise. They've got control of the Doom franchise. I mean, some really long, games with long histories, storied histories that multiple generations of gamers have played. Of course, they bought Rare a long time ago. They bought Obsidian recently. I mean, they're buying up all of these studios, and it worries me having one entity controlling all of these titles because again, Microsoft does not have a very good history of managing properties. Um, and I mean, when you think about it, they own pretty much everything now, except for you know Ubisoft, Epic, and some of the indie studios.
And Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, and Activision, Blizzard. Of the big giants, that they own everything now. Besides the indie studios that are out there. So it really concerns me because whenever Microsoft, they sure do, Spidey, they sure do. Um, it really concerns me because whenever they launch anything or they acquire anything, they always start off with all of this flowery language. Or, like, you remember when they acquired Beam and the big Mixer launch? I mean, I'm sure everybody remembers that, right? It was an all day long special. And there was all these grandiose promises and all this flowery language and all this. And they do that with everything. They did it with the launch of the Windows Phone. They did it with Cortana. They did it with the Zune, right? Bing, yes, Bing is another one. Yeah. Clippy. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So, Xbox, Phil Spencer came out and said that, what we're doing here is we're promising to only finance these studios and allow them to create. That's what we're going to be doing. But does anybody really believe that? I mean, what is your take on that? Hey, Cool D.
I had a lot of faith and trust in that statement. We were, towards the transitional life cycle of stepped away from the Xbox 360. Xbox One had a year or two under its belt before they really started publicizing their acquisitions. Now, in hindsight, I had a lot of trust in it because I believed in the Xbox Live Arcade platform. It was a really great transitional place for devs to publish. They still paid their royalties, but it allowed a broader adoption of games.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't hear that title anymore. You don't hear Xbox Live Arcade. Outside of the recent rebranding of Xbox Live in general, the arcade section gave us all hope. And now that we're to the point where that's behind them, and we're looking forward, and we're picking up studios, I see some good, I see some bad. To touch on the publicized culture of developers. There have been a lot of horror stories about overworked teams and just not a healthy work environment. Be it management or harassment, or companies too small to act responsible. And you hear the scandals 5-10 years later. I think the positive to these acquisitions is the culture that Microsoft maintains with their employees. And as a former employee myself, that means a lot. that means I can see a studio get acquired that now has a backbone for for their employees, for you know truly supporting the people making great things happen.
Well, that's a good point too. And everybody remembers all the stuff that came out about CD Projekt Red before the Cyberpunk launch, right? I mean, what you're referring to in the industry is called the crunch, right? When they're trying to get a game out and they're having their employees work, around the clock, sleeping under their desk, or, a lot of these tech companies have nap rooms or whatever. But I mean, people just working nonstop, to the bone just to meet a deadline. And, we've heard it again and again and again and again over the years, but most recently we heard it with the launch of Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red. So, I mean, I agree that is something good that could come out of it for those people that work for those companies. Now they'll have, an HR department to go to and just say, hey, look, I can't work like this anymore. My blood pressure is 500 over 200. I can't do this. The stress is killing me. I've got a family. This is wrecking my relationship. It's wrecking my marriage. I mean, just whatever. Now they'll have, like you're saying, kind of protection from that with an HR department and so on and so forth, along with, benefits and a salary. And I mean, a lot of those things could be good.
But at what cost?
Right. I mean, are a lot of the great games that we've enjoyed over the decades, did they come out of that grind? How much of that grind was can be attributed to that? How much of that greatness can be attributed to the grind? And when they're just so focused and their creative energy is just all focused during that crunch period. I mean, how much of that?
You are an outlaw.
Hey, Texas, thank you so much. Look at those. Look at 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you, Texas.
You are an outlaw.
So anyway, you were going to, that's right. So you were going to say something, Janet Little?
Yeah, and
You are
the what's the
an
cost
outlaw.
here? What's the nomenclature is you only make diamonds under pressure. And is that the opportunity cost?
You
Because
are
yes,
outlaw.
work-life balance is an invaluable thing, but are the great works of art, whether they're physical art or digital art or, athletes,
You
even,
are an outlaw.
it's that game, that pressure, that drive, that sense of blood, sweat, and tears into everything that I touch. And is that lost when you clock out and shut down?
Yeah, could be. And then when you come back
You
to work
are
the next
an
day,
outlaw.
ugly rugger. When you come into work the next day, you're not in the zone anymore. I mean, that's kind of, what you're alluding to there. And you've got to, work your way back up. Thank you for the sub, my brother. How are you, my friend, my fellow Texan? So my fear is, that the quality will go down because, a lot of people are talking about, hey, this is great that they own all these because now, all this stuff is going to be on Game Pass. I can play all these games for, I know for PC, what it's $16.99. I don't know what it is is it still $10 for Xbox? I don't even know. I know for PC it's $16.99, but everybody's like, oh man, I can play all these games now. I can play Skyrim. I can play Fallout. I can play all this stuff, on Xbox, Game Pass because, they own all these studios now. This is great. This is fantastic. And I agree that is pretty cool, but Microsoft, they are the opposite of King Midas. King Midas, everything you touch turned to gold. It seems like everything Microsoft touches turns to shit. And, I'm just concerned about what the future is going to look like. And that's what I mean when I've said in all these tweets and I've said in my videos that this could end up being a very bad thing for the industry and a very bad thing for gamers. Because, and we talked about this a little bit, the things that are in development now, right? I mean, we know that there is, a new Skyrim or Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever you want to call it. We know that that's in development. We don't know how far along it is, but that will probably end up being okay and pretty cool, right? Um, you know, um, if Fallout 5, we don't know, but if it's in development, that will probably end up being pretty cool. Those are just examples, right? But as things move along, what does the future look like? Because we know Microsoft does not have a hands off approach. What are those games going to look like? I mean, are they going to be watered down? Are they going to be, you had a little bit to say about this, Jo. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like you said, the first one or two titles that are going to come out of the gate from these studios are going to be celebrated. They're going to be adored because they were made in house before, like the groundwork was laid, the base was built, and the polishing is then controlled or encouraged by the new owner, Microsoft. So I think it's hard to say up front that, oh, that's a bad thing because A, like you said, Game Pass, and B, great titles. Yes, great titles were why the studios were acquired. And sure, maybe some of them have some legacy titles like the id platform, um, and Quake and Doom and all these great legacy and historical titles.
Mm-hmm.
To Does that mean we're going to see them again? Does that mean we're going to see the reboot for better, or are we just going to get a bunch of remastered stuff? And I'm not knocking remastered stuff because I've had some great experiences with them. But how long can you recycle? I would even go as far to say I've probably purchased the original Doom at least 4 times,
Right.
Across platforms.
That's something we're going to talk about tomorrow night is remasters, along with Solus is going to come on and talk to us about frames per second, what that really means, and why it's important that your monitor refresh rate is able to take advantage of what your PC or console hardware is and how it gives you an edge, especially in FPS games. So that's a little sneak peek of tomorrow night. Yeah, Bethesda is developing an Indiana Jones game, Spidey. So, that's an example of one that'll come out that'll probably be great because it's, again, already in development. So, we mentioned, things that are in development. A good, kind of, comparison you can draw here to why it's bad that Xbox, Microsoft is going to be over and have control of all these studios is look no further than Halo, right? Bungie had that agreement with Halo. Halo 1, Combat Evolved, one of my favorites of all time, right? This was before the days of Xbox Live, and my buddies and I would, we would carry big friggin' old big TVs. This is before flat screens over to somebody's house, and we would take our Xbox over there, and we would have LAN parties playing, the original Halo. Halo 2 is what really sold the Xbox. That's what got the Xbox. It's what made it a success. It's what made Xbox Live a success was Halo 2.
And do you remember where you first saw Halo?
I saw Halo first in the movie theater. I saw a huge ad as a movie trailer. That's when I first saw it. Now, I think you're alluding to something else. So
I'm absolutely alluding to something else. And the first time the world saw Halo was a tech demo on a Mac.
Okay.
They presented it in a trade show on stage as a functional platform on a Mac. Like, this is around the iMac time, maybe right before in the Performa series, and you can even look it up on YouTube. It's kind of cool to see where they were going. And of course, Microsoft had the Xbox platform ready to go and push for this, and that's how you scoop them up.
Okay, so Sack, who is a Mac guy, just typed in chat that Bungie was a Mac developer for years. He put in caps.
They were.
So I did not know that. I learned something today. The more you know, the more you grow. And Guy, I saw your question about Discord servers. We'll hit on that again before the end of the show. Just remind me. We talked about it at the beginning, but we'll hit it again before the end of the show. We'll answer that for you. Not a problem. As best as we know. Anyway. So, there was Halo 2, right? And then along comes Halo 3. And that was the first time that, Microsoft's own studio 343 started having something to do with the game. Remember? Bungie still had handled most of the development, but 343 did some of the work on Halo 3. Halo 3, many people consider, the best of the franchise. Some people consider it the last great Halo game. Because when they moved on to Reach, and then, of course, Halo 4, Bungie was out of the picture, and it was all 343 at that point, and the quality of Halo really started to decline. And that's what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen to all these great titles now that Xbox owns, is they're just going to go downhill. And, let's go ahead and take the conversation to Halo Infinite that's been delayed and delayed and delayed. And the previews or sneak peeks that we've seen of it don't look very good. They don't look like next-gen graphics. And the gameplay is just kind of the same old, same old. So I know Halo Infinite, you had something to say about that as well, JL.
Yeah, I think that when you watch your neighbor's house catch on fire, you do your darndest to make sure yours doesn't. And that's where they're at. They made this big grandiose claim, Halo Infinity is going to be a launch title for Xbox Series, insert letter here. And that was their intention. And then they kind of reevaluated. They probably saw what Cyberpunk was about to do and chose not to. Whether the footage we saw was truly running on a Series X versus an Xbox One, and whatever that demo experience that we saw initially, was it like the videos were okay, but the gameplay wasn't there. Now, in the last, what was it, probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, there was some more footage put out, kind of said, yeah, this is probably what we should have done first. And that gives me a little hope, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to see two identical titles of Halo Infinity land on last gen and current gen consoles. And more importantly, what's the PC experience going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all good points. I mean, for me, one company controlling all of it. I mean, anytime you take competition out of a marketplace, that's bad. Right? That's bad. It stops companies from, competing to make a better game, so you'll buy theirs instead of the competitors. I mean, competition is good, right? Competition results in better end products for us. And one company controlling them all, that's just that I think that just spells in the future crap games for everybody. And a subscription service like Game Pass that's full of nothing but crap games. I mean, you remember the scene in Tommy Boy when the old man said, I only buy things that have a guarantee on the box. And Tommy Boy says, well, I can shit in a box and mark guarantee on it, but then what have you got? You got a guaranteed piece of shit. I mean, if you've got a subscription service that's just full of pieces of shit, then, what have you got at the end of the day? I mean, there is, like I said, hopefully some good that could come out of it, but I don't know. There's just so many great companies, so many great franchises, so many great titles that are wrapped up in this. Just really, really concerns me. That's going to bring us to the end of the first segment about the game studios. Let's go ahead and hit on Microsoft possibly buying Discord again and answer Guy's question. The answer is, Guy, we don't know. We don't know if they would continue to allow Discord to run the servers or if Microsoft would take them over. One thing we talked about is, given Microsoft's history, they could just shut the whole thing down and, do like they did with Teams when they bought Skype, do away with Skype and just have, Microsoft Teams. I mean, that could be one thing. The other positive thing that could happen that we talked about is they could bring Discord to the Xbox and get rid of Xbox Live chat and, the texting thing altogether, because it sucks, right? This Discord is far superior. So if Discord was available on the Xbox, that would be great. Like when we play with you and Stacky and we're on PC, we don't have to fight with that horrible, Xbox Live PC app. So, yeah, Solus, that's good. But the key word there is leaving it alone. That is something that you never see Microsoft do, very rarely. So, oh, it's so bad, Texas. Solus and I fight with that thing. Giant Little never really seems to have any trouble with it, but Solus and I have a lot of trouble with it. And man, it's so bad. And there's so many different versions of it too, and that's one thing that I don't understand. This latest, newest version that kind of looks like it kind of looks like they tried to make it look like Discord, right? And it's bad. It's terrible. It causes a lot of problems for me. It causes games to lag, games to crash. Whenever I try to play Warzone, it crashes Warzone. I'm having to use like the 3 or 4 year-old beta version of it just to, talk to these guys, talk to Stacky or somebody time out Stacky, would you? To talk to Stacky and, Guy, or when we play with my son-in-law or anybody, that's on Xbox anyway. I mean, it's just so bad. So bad. So, again, one thing that Discord did say is they're more likely to go public than to sell themselves. So hopefully that could happen. Discord declined to comment. Obviously, like I said, they're probably trying to, kind of get media attention off of this so a deal can happen. That could be one thing that's going on. It could be that the person that they spoke to just doesn't know.
I think the opposite. I think they are trying to have the media attention so they can have a higher valuation to pull and go public, to have, I don't want to say a cash grab, but a more attractive offering going public versus consolidating and having somebody else line your pockets for a little bit and giving up.
Well, it could.
So
it could.
I think it's more of a financial play to get them to go public. But it could result in the opposite, where they get an offer that's too good to refuse.
Well, I mean, that very well could happen as well, because the $10 billion offer is more than what their valuation was last year when they first looked at going public, right? Because VentureBeat reported that they raised $100 million at a $7 billion valuation. So you could be right. They could be trying to drive that valuation number up, in their play to go public. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. There's been a lot of talk on Twitter. Like I said, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to the guys at Gilded. We just talked Sunday night about Discord versus Gilded. I'm not a real big fan of the way that Gilded is marketing themselves. I just think it's kind of classless to go into Discord's tweets and, talk about, we're better than Nitro because we give you free motes, and I just don't think that that's very ethical marketing. However, the guys do have they do have a pretty good product. So again, this is probably the best thing that could happen to the folks at Gilded is this, rumor of Microsoft buying Discord, whether it ends up being true or not. Because all day long on Twitter, if you look, there are people talking about, I'm moving to Gilded. I'm moving my community to Gilded. So, there you have it. I will say that even though I don't like some of the things that Gilded has done in their marketing, and I do think that a Gilded partnership is basically meaningless, kind of like the big Discord partnership got to be. If Microsoft buys Discord, I'll move my stuff over to Gilded just because I don't want to be part of another Microsoft failure. I hit the eject button on Mixer in time. I was gone before that went down in flames. But, I just want to get, our Discord community in place over on Gilded before any big changes happen or, before it goes down in flames. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. Anyway, we're going to take a short break and hear from Wifey's nephew, Skinny Penis. And then we will move on to our final segment, which will be talking about birthday streams and other gimmicks that streamers use to influence you to donate money. Some of these things I'm going to say are going to shock you. So get ready. I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm going to tell some stories that are going to make you pee your pants. Oh, Bat Dad. That's too bad, man. Ooh, I remember, just before we go to break real quick, hey, Captain Kirk, what's up, buddy? I remember there were some people that got like their Mixer partner approval email the day that Mixer announced that they were shutting down too. That was just, unbelievable. They must have sent in their video where they breathed on the mirror and fog it up, and Mixer said, oh, you're partnered, because that's what they were doing there at the end. So anyhow, let's move on. Those of you that have not been here, when I started streaming again, I had to make a deal with Wifey that I would let our nephew advertise on the stream about his content. So here we have it. Generic, over-the-top, idiotic content creator, YouTuber, Skinny Penis.
Hey, yo, this is your boy, Skinny Penis, coming at you with more Fortnite. Follow for follow, view for view. It's what I got to do because I got no content and I got no talent. Former Mixer partner, Skinny Penis coming at you. Yeah, baby, I got partnered on Mixer, streaming off my Xbox with a Kinect camera that was broken that only showed my feet. I don't even know, bro. Yo. Wait a minute, dog. 2 viewers? That's just my bot and my mom's. Hold up. Yo, hold up. Skinny Penis forgot something, fam. Hold up. File. Open. Execute. Hey, yo! We just got 500 viewers in the channel. Yo, Skinny Penis gonna be on the front page.
Okay, there you have it. Skinny Penis, everybody. Skinny Penis. He's supposed to be working on another ad for us, so we'll see what else the great or not so great Skinny Penis can come up with. Captain Kirk, my first stream back was Saturday the 20th. 1,250 V-Bucks, bro. That's right. Yep. But we're not doing games, Captain Kirk. It's a talk show and podcast about the streaming and gaming industry is what we're doing. No more games. I told everybody you can play your own damn games. Not playing any games. So, all right, let's get into our third and final segment. And we're going to talk about birthday streams and other gimmicks that streamers use to get you to donate money to them. Birthday streams, I first started seeing these a lot on Mixer. It's never really something that I saw a lot on Twitch, but I did see it a lot on Mixer. And maybe I'm just from a different generation. I don't know. But I just have always been, had the belief and been taught that it's not cool to broadcast that it's your birthday. You just didn't go to work and tell everybody that was your birthday. You didn't go to school and tell everybody it was your birthday. That was just kind of frowned upon. So, whenever I saw all these, it's my birthday stream, whatever the case may be, I was just like, oh my God, really? Grown man, grown woman sitting here telling everybody that it's their birthday? I mean, come on, give me a break. And, the other thing that, exactly, Sack. The other thing that Sack comes from the same generation I do. He knows what I'm talking about here. So the other thing that kind of struck me about the birthday streams was, why don't you just put in your title, donate money, it's my birthday? Because, that's what they really want. They don't want you to come in and just say happy birthday. Okay, maybe they do, but that's not the entire intent of the birthday stream and putting it as your title, right? And birthday stream tweet, birthday stream in Discord. They're wanting you to come in and donate money for their birthday because, I'll see people on their tweet the next day or that night. Oh, thanks for the wonderful birthday stream. You guys donated so much money for my birthday. Drunk streams. Well, I've seen that too. I'll donate $5 if you take a shot or whatever the case may be. For some reason, that doesn't bother me as bad because they can't, somebody can't sit there and drink forever, right? Eventually they're going to fall over or shit their pants or something because, you just can't keep going forever. But the birthday stream is just one of those gimmicks that just really gets me. The sleep stream, though, that's not really something that is going to get. It's gimmicky, right? Especially, it's just kind of creepy to me. Like when girls do a birthday stream, that's just real creepy to me. But that's not something I think that they're doing to get donations. That's just. Maybe they're trying to fulfill their hours streamed per month. I don't know. But that's the first one that bothers me. The most despicable thing that I have seen in my time in streaming are people that do fake charity streams. And this does happen. I have, I've done a few charity streams. You guys may remember we did a really big charity stream for Hurricane Harvey victims. And the way that we did it was we had two different entities that you could donate to. One of them was the dog rescue people. Now I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, the people that rescue dogs, and they were rescuing dogs that were displaced by the storm, people that had abandoned their dogs during the Harvey floods and all that. And you could donate to them. Humane Society Animal Rescue Team. Thank you, Giant Little. That was one. And the other one was, they're called Mercy Chefs, and they were going down and they were setting up these huge mobile kitchens and they were feeding people that were homeless and displaced by the storm or had no electricity at their house or whatever. And we had those two things set up that you could donate directly to with a link. And that way I never touched the money. None of the other streamers we had helping us ever saw the money. It went directly to those people. In a lot of charity streams, you'll see people where you donate to them and then they will donate to the charity, right? And there have been a couple of, I remember that, Stacky. Thank you for bringing that up. One big example that I personally witnessed was I was at a convention and I was talking to a vendor. I'm trying to be as vague as I can because although this is a true story, I don't want to throw anybody completely under the bus, but I was at a convention and I was talking to a vendor at this convention that had a booth along with a fellow streamer. And I knew at the time that this fellow streamer had barely been able to make it to the convention. Was having some financial trouble because I had overheard them on the phone with their wife talking about, not having enough money to do this or that and barely making it and this, that, and the other. I mean, you get the gist. Whenever the convention was over and everybody went back home, I saw this individual do a charity stream. And they raised a lot of money. It was a charity stream on a Saturday, and I was like, wow. Okay, well, that's cool. Good for them. And, they raised a sizable amount of money. It was close to $2,000 that they raised. And I was like, well, good for them. Good for them. I know they were just having financial problems and, they chose to react to that by helping other people. That's great. Well, I noticed the very next day that they tweeted that they had just bought some expensive equipment, the very same stuff that we had been looking at together at that vendor booth. So, I mean, you kind of put two and two together, and I mean, it really kind of seems like this person did that charity stream, got that money, and then used it to buy those products. And as time went on, hey, J-Tech, what's going on, buddy? Thank you, brother. I heard more stories about things like this, other streamers doing this kind of thing. And to me, that is really, really despicable to get money under the guise of people donating for a charity and then use it for yourself. Another instance I know of was a individual that raised money as a goal for a long time on their stream for them to go to a convention. And they ended up not quite reaching the goal, but their community donated quite a bit of money. I mean, it ended up being, probably like $1,100-$1,200, but it wasn't going to be enough for flights and hotel and that kind of stuff. And, so the last day, this individual just decides they're not going to go. And instead of doing the right thing and giving the money back to the people that donated it, they just kept it. So that really left a bad taste in my mouth too. Probably, exactly, Texas, exactly. And Texas, these people I'm talking about. You know who they are. We've seen some other people that I know of that have faked illnesses. Either Rugger knows who I'm talking about. I can tell by what he just said. We have seen people fake illnesses either for themselves or for their family members, and take donations that are supposed to be for medical bills or whatever, and end up hearing through the grapevine that they were never really sick, or the family member was never really sick. That also very, very despicable. Another big thing that I witnessed during my time at Mixer, and this one was kind of weird. I saw someone fake an arrest, fake that they were in jail for a DWI, and they stayed off stream for 3 or 4 days. I mean, I really sold this to everybody, right? And then started asking their community for donations, to cover their bail bondsman and to cover, their legal fees and all that. And the whole thing ended up being made up. A close friend of them ended up outing them about it. The entire thing was made up. Never happened. The last thing that I'm going to bring up is, it may be the most controversial, because you may agree with people that doing this, or you may not. But whenever somebody has on their screen like rent, or my monthly expenses, or whatever the case may be, I mean, come on. Unless you're unemployed and you're streaming, until you find a job, I guess I can see that that's okay. But to say that you're a full-time streamer and you've got to put your monthly expenses and your rent as on your stream as a goal every month, streaming is not a guaranteed source of income, okay? Unless you're somebody who is, really, really big, like a Shroud or somebody like that, streaming is not a guaranteed source of income. And if you're trying to be a full-time streamer and you can't afford it, and you're to the point where you've got to put your rent, your electricity bill, or whatever as a goal on your Zach, I'm not even going to touch that one, on your stream, at that point, you need to get a friggin' job. Okay, you need to get a friggin' job. I don't know who out there needs to hear this, but if you're a full-time streamer and you can't afford to keep your lights on, you can't afford to pay your rent, you need to get a freaking job. You are not a full-time streamer. Absolutely, you are not. Guy, nobody wants your damn eyebrows, okay? Guy ain't going to do that hard work, Stack. Guy would work about 5 minutes. Yeah, that's different, Texas. I mean, that is totally different. And you are so transparent with everything. You talk all about Stella. You keep, people updated on it. You show pictures. You talk about her visits to the vet. I mean, you are very, very transparent about everything. Very, very true. Guy says he's not lazy. Well, Stack, buy Guy a plane ticket. Get him to Georgia. Get him to Georgia and put him to work. Exactly, PyCon. Exactly. 100%. One thing I haven't talked about is this will not be where I'm doing the stream for much longer. Your dad may not like that, Guy. We are redoing, I don't want to say remodeling. I guess I can say remodeling, because we're redoing the flooring, new paint, everything in our daughter's old bedroom. It's the next biggest room after the master. And, kind of as the oldest kid moved out, kids kind of graduated to that room. What's up, Domo? Kids kind of graduated to that room, right? And we are redoing that room. No, Giant Little. If I wanted the room to go to shit, I would brand it Mixer. But new flooring, we're going to do stained concrete in there. We're going to paint it. I'm going to have all my cool crap up on the walls, probably do some LED lighting. And no, this will become your room, Domo, when you come to visit. Not that one. This will become your room. We talked about Glimish on the first episode, Texas. And yeah, you're exactly right. But that's where we'll end up doing the show as soon as that room is done. A little bit cooler background. A little bit better lighting. Once we get in there, no more desk shaky camera, because we're actually building a big, humongous desk that I will sit at, both to work at during the day and to stream at night, because I have a friggin' job. And anyway, thank you, J-Tech. I appreciate it, buddy. And I digress. Milk, Cool D, milk does a body good. Okay, that's my thoughts on milk. Go drink milk today. Unless you're lactose intolerant, then don't drink milk, because it could make you throw up or shit your pants, or both. So be careful with milk as far as that goes. All right, guys, that brings us to our conclusion. Thank all you beautiful people. Texas, it was so good to see you. Domo, so good to see you. So good to see you all. That'll give you worms. One thing before I go, I do have the shows submitted as a podcast to Google Podcast and iTunes. I just have to wait for it to be approved, and then I'll tweet and post where you can subscribe, to the podcast. I also have it submitted to Spotify, and I think it may already be available on Spotify. So if you want to search for Old Gen New Gen on Spotify, then you can subscribe to the podcast there. If not, wait for iTunes and the Google Podcast Store. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., my guest will be the ever so Sasquatch-like Soulless Wrecker. And we're going to talk about, absolutely, Giant Little, thank you for being on, buddy. Appreciate it so much. Some great insights from you there. And Soulless and I are going to talk about frames per second. Is it? Thank you, Giant Little. Thank you, buddy. We're going to talk about frames per second on your hardware, whether you have one of the new Xbox Series X's or one of the 30 series graphics cards, and the refresh rate on your monitor. Why it's important that you have a refresh rate, which is the hertz when you talk about a monitor, that can take advantage of your new hardware, and how that can give you an advantage in games, especially first-person shooter games. And we'll have our few other surprise topics as well. So that does it for tonight. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central.